here are some common ways that we have collaborated. You can share your programming. I don't know, Buffalo peeps, are you on here? I know, for example, the tool library in Buffalo and many others who have presented on this call have shared programming with the public library. I'm just calling you out because I knew you were here. So, or at least had been. And that's a great way to do an intro, right? To say, hey, public library, will you give me space? Or will you advertise this program for me? Or will you give me money and I'll put on a program for you and I'll take on the liability? Another easy way to collaborate is saying that with repair cafes. So a lot of libraries, they might not have libraries of things or tools, but they'll have repair cafes. And so that's a really easy point. You can ask a library for money because you're providing them with a service. Okay. And some libraries do have money, some don't. So in that case, see what they need. They may need quality programming. And so they might be able to give you something like quality advertising to people who don't know about you that you would want as well. Or maybe they can give you, we've done trades before where someone needed space to have meetings for their board and do a bunch of other things. So we said, okay, you run this program, we'll give you this. Another way is to share your membership. The Denver Public Library and the Denver Tool Library do this. I just checked the other day. There was like a waiting list of like 100 people wanted it. So this is very, very popular. Okay. Again, this is cool because the Denver Tool Library is taking the liability for that, but the Denver Public Library is providing that service to those folks who may not have the ability to do that otherwise. And I think it really could be a win-win. And this is something where libraries have museum passes. So this is a known way. This exists, okay? There's museum pass software. So this isn't a foreign concept to them. Another way is to increase your space. So the Tacoma Tool Library and the Tacoma Public Library main branch, the Tacoma Tool Library actually operates in the Public Library main branch at times. They're not right now, but they can. Again, if you're on here, hi. And also, I'm so glad we had Iceland on. Yay! Love that example. I think that is a wonderful example if you're thinking of how to work with your public library and you want to start in a different way. That's a great example of say, okay, well, maybe you don't want to deal with a lot of this. Look at what they did here. Though if you missed that lecture here, there was a great example of there's a series of cabinets that people could check in and check out of those cabinets and get their items. And that cabinet space was often housed at a public library. And I've seen similar things where you can actually have those items at trailheads and it's run by the public library. I've seen it where you've had them outside the public library during COVID. People are actually picking up their books, but why can't they pick up something else? But I think, there's just differences of how you want to operationalize that and how you want to work together. My point is here, there's a lot of different models. And the last model I want to call out is you could share your expertise as a tool library, right? You could share your time, you could share your drive, and you could share your expertise and say, okay, all right, public library, here we go. So this is what you need to know about some tools. Because we don't all know. I'm the best person at naming tools because I'm like, the thingy that does this. If I was in charge of it all, it would all be called the thingy that, because I can never remember the gosh darn perfect names. But my point is that there's a lot of libraries that have done this over the years. I actually have a series of questions out to the Berkeley Public Library. Jill's going to get back to me. They just took over the role of managing that branch. But the Oakland Tool Library and the Berkeley Tool Library, especially the Berkeley Tool Library, I mean, they've been doing this for years. And they have a lot of things that, for example, newbies like my library does not have. Like, we do not share a lot of saws. We share some, but not a table saw, not my favorite, miter power saw. And there's very good reasons why. This is another way that you could actually work kind of with a public library that I think could be beneficial for everyone in the long run if you're clear about kind of what you want and what you want for the communities.